The city before the ASH. What if you woke up on a normal day and never saw the next sunrise? What if your city vanished before anyone could save it? This is not fiction. This is the true story of Pompeii. Pompeii was once a beautiful and lively Roman city located near the Bay of Naples, in what is now modern-day Italy. It was a place full of color, sound, and movement. Stone streets echoed with footsteps. Markets buzzed with voices. Homes were decorated with paintings, gardens, and fountains. Life in Pompeii was rich and active. Citizens gathered in public baths to relax and socialize. Merchants sold bread, fruit, wine, and spices. Gladiator games entertained crowds in the amphitheater. Temples stood proudly, honoring Roman gods. Pompeii was alive. Overlooking the city stood Mount Vesuvius. Green, quiet, and peaceful, it blended into the landscape. No smoke. No fire. No danger, or so it seemed. Most residents had no idea that it was a volcano. Those who did knew very little about volcanic eruptions. In ancient times, volcanoes were poorly understood. People believed earthquakes were caused by angry gods or spirits beneath the earth. Science had not yet explained the deadly forces hidden underground. Years before the eruption, Pompeii experienced troubling signs. The ground shook often. Buildings cracked. Water supplies changed. In 62 AD, a massive earthquake struck the city, destroying homes, temples, and streets. Many people left, but most stayed and rebuilt. They believed the danger had passed. But Mount Vesuvius was only waking up. The calm before the catastrophe. On the morning of August 24, 79 AD, Pompeii looked normal. The sun rose. People began their daily routines. Bakers prepared bread. Children played. Farmers worked outside the city walls. Nothing felt unusual. Then, just before midday, the ground trembled. A thunderous explosion shattered the silence. Mount Vesuvius erupted with unimaginable force. A towering column of ash, smoke, and volcanic rock blasted into the sky. It rose over 30 kilometers high, forming a massive cloud shaped like a pine tree. Within moments, daylight faded into darkness. People froze in shock. Some pointed toward the mountain. Others ran in fear. Many stood still, unable to understand what they were seeing. Ash began to fall from the sky. At first, it seemed harmless, like gray snow drifting down gently. People brushed it from their clothes. Some laughed nervously. Others prayed. But the ash did not stop. Soon, pumice stones, light but sharp volcanic rocks, began to rain down. They bounced across rooftops and streets, growing heavier with each passing minute. Roofs collapsed under the weight. Buildings cracked. The air became thick and painful to breathe. Panic spread through Pompeii. Families gathered their belongings. Some tried to flee toward the coast. Others stayed inside, hoping the eruption would end. The sky turned completely black. Torches were lit in the middle of the day. Ash filled lungs. Eyes burned. People shouted but could barely hear each other over the roaring volcano. Pompeii was trapped beneath a storm of fire and stone. Hour by hour, the city disappeared under layers of ash. Night fell, but the eruption did not. The daytime stood still. The falling ash was terrifying. But it was not what killed Pompeii. What came next ended everything. As the night deepened, Mount Vesuvius reached its deadliest stage. Inside the volcano, pressure built to an unbearable level. Suddenly, the mountain collapsed inward, releasing a series of massive pyroclastic flows. These were not rivers of lava. They were clouds of superheated gas, ash, and rock, moving faster than a hurricane and hotter than 500 degrees Celsius. Anything in their path was destroyed instantly. The first wave struck Pompeii in the early hours of the morning. People never had time to scream. The heat was so intense that life ended within seconds. Bodies collapsed where they stood. Some were walking. Some were sleeping. Some were holding their children. Pompeii was wiped out in moments. Several more pyroclastic flows followed, burying the city deeper and deeper beneath ash and debris. By sunrise, Pompeii no longer existed. The once busy streets were silent. Nature had erased an entire civilization. A city lost to time. After the eruption, survivors never returned. Pompeii was buried under nearly 6 meters of volcanic material. Over time, plants grew. Roads shifted. Memories faded. For almost 1700 years, Pompeii remained hidden. Then, in 1748, workers digging near Naples uncovered stone walls and strange ruins. Archaeologists soon realized they had found something extraordinary, a Roman city preserved exactly as it was on the day it died. Pompeii stunned the world. Homes still contained furniture. Kitchens still held pots. Graffiti still marked walls. Even food was found preserved by ash. Time had stopped in 79 AD. Perhaps the most haunting discovery came later. When bodies decomposed, they left hollow spaces inside the hardened ash. Scientists filled these spaces with plaster, revealing detailed casts of human figures, frozen in their final moments. Faces showed fear. Hands reached for protection. Families clung together. Pompeii became a powerful reminder of human vulnerability. The legacy of Pompeii. Pompeii taught historians more about Roman life than any written record ever could. It showed how people lived, worked, ate, and entertained themselves. It revealed social classes, architecture, and culture in stunning detail. But Pompeii was more than an archaeological treasure. It was a warning. Mount Vesuvius is still active today. Millions of people live in its shadow. Scientists monitor it constantly, knowing that another eruption is not a question of if, but when. Pompeii reminds us that nature is powerful beyond imagination. It does not negotiate. It does not wait. Pompeii did not disappear by accident. It was preserved, as a message from the past. A city frozen in ash. A moment locked in time. A story humanity must never forget.